This is the Political Spotlight.
The Political Spotlight is a joke. It's more like a political flop.
Nobody listens to Bilbrey.
He's just a wannabe podcaster. No one takes him seriously.
He is a rude, crude dude that will never go any further than broadcasting from his mother's basement.
Bilbrey is a wrecking ball for Indiana politicians.
Grab another box of Twinkies and generic cola, Bilbrey.
And get back to your microphone and your audience of nobodies.
The Political Spotlight is a joke.
He is like a rude, crude dude that will never go
Bilbrey's a wrecking ball for Indiana politicians. Shut that stupid Bilbrey up.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. This is the Political Spotlight, and hey, it's a Sunday. It's the summertime. I was like an hour ago watching the radio flyer, and I haven't seen that movie in a very long time. I didn't know that Tom Hanks was in there. I didn't know that Tom Hanks was one of the brothers that grew up. I guess at the time I saw the movie, I was a young kid. I wouldn't have known it was Tom Hanks, I guess. Not young. I was probably the age of the young kids that of Hanks's kids. For those of you that it's been a minute since you've seen that movie, if you recall, Radio Flyer shows Tom Hanks is setting out at the airport, and he's like, I guess, the owner of the airport or whatever, and his two kids are down on the runway kind of fighting, and he goes down and he tells his kids the story of him and his brother and their mom when their dad left them and they moved from like New York to California. And the dad, the stepdad, the mom hooked up with, I think, Bill Paxton. I think Bill Paxton was the dad in that, but he was real abusive, and it didn't show his face. It did a really good job of like keeping his face away. But I think, matter of fact, I'm going to look that up right now because I need to know, because like, that's so funny to me, because Bill Paxton is not like a bad guy in any way. And never in a million years could I imagine him being the Adam Baldwin. No, I don't know who that is. Okay, well, let's take a look.
You got to be a sci-fi geek to know Adam Baldwin, because he was in Independence Day.
Okay, Adam. So, that's
and he
funny.
was in Firefly.
Okay, that's what I'm looking up right here. So, so tell me, if you look at this guy, tell me, everyone's like, what the hell are we talking about? But did you know Radio Flyer? You saw the movie Radio Flyer at some point.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want everybody just, we're going to get to the politics, folks. We're just, it's a summertime. We're going to have a busy week. So look at him here. This is Adam Baldwin. And I want you to look. That's very Bill Paxton-esque. This kind of face, right? You see him here? Do you know who Bill Paxton is?
Yes, I know who Bill Paxton is.
That's what younger. Yeah. Like, okay, look at him here. So this guy. Now I'm going to take you back to the other picture, and you tell me if you could get them confused.
No.
Nah, bullshit. Look at him. Look at him in the picture in the green. See this picture of him in the green? Look at this picture of him in the green.
Very square-jawed.
All right, now we're going to go look at this picture right here. Now look here. This could be that same picture of the green. He just grew a goatee. Come on now. I could see. Well, here's the deal. In Radio Flyer, they never show his face up close.
Right.
Like, I think it's to make him more scary. You know what I mean?
Well, I actually like Adam Baldwin and know stuff that he's in. So
yeah, that's the other thing is you know him. You know him as a character. And I'm a big Bill Paxton fan. And that's what I was like. Maybe this was one of Bill Paxton's like younger movies, but
Animal Mother, come on.
Who?
Animal Mother.
Yes. Adam Baldwin is, and he's not a Baldwin, is he?
No. No. he's
Okay,
not related to
that makes me like him more.
Yeah.
Independence Day, The Patriot, Predator 2, Firefly, Serenity.
Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah. I wonder who he was in Full Metal Jacket.
Animal Mother.
I don't. Okay, that's what you were saying. I don't remember him from that.
Guy who they meet him in Vietnam. He's not in the first part of the movie. He's in
Okay.
the half. He's the one with the machine gun running around screaming.
Oh, that's right.
That's Animal Mother. That's him.
That's right. Yeah. Now there he
I don't
does
know if
not
he had
look
like
like
an actual name.
there. Yeah. There he does not look like Bill Paxton at all. And this is probably the same guy. He got out of Vietnam and then met that mother and her kids, and this is why he's abusive. He was like suffering from PTSD. I can understand it. So
There you go.
You know, I get it. He was just suffering. So yeah, that's what was happening. So that's what was happening like an hour ago. And I was like, I don't think this movie's going to end in time for me to do the show. All right, I'll just cancel the show. And then I was like, oh God, I can't. We have so much going on this week. Listen, never fear, people. This happens every summer. It's just like school and everything else. It will go away. We'll get back into the thick of it. Matter of fact, this is the week it goes away because, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot even believe that we are saying this. This is absolutely shocking to me. It's just I cannot believe it. But it is starting, I guess technically starting today, really starting tomorrow. It is the I want to know what I actually wrote in the description, but it is the actual Delaware County's 2026 fair is officially started. And since I have been a little kid, small little kid, the Delaware County Fair Week was always the start. In my mind, it was always my official start to the fall campaign election time. We get a break from the primary from the very beginning of May, and then we get June and most of July off. And then we get the Delaware County Fair, which, as Charlize is pointing out, normally means the city of Muncie generally tries about a week or two before the fair starts to do some kind of bizarre process with the road that makes it just an absolute nightmare. And I will tell you, to my knowledge, no, the Wheeling, Centennial, and Walnut from Centennial to the bridge is all passable. So I think we should be good to go. So third week of July and second tropical storm of the season for us, and fair week for you. Want to trade? Yeah, right. Wasn't I just talking to you about that the other day? Weren't we just talking about the fact that you guys had not had anything down there? And then are you telling me you've had 2 tropical storms since we talked about that, like last Saturday? Second tropical storm of the season. Yeah, I mean, that means like 2 tropical storms in like the last week. Tropical storms are nothing. I would rather deal with a tropical storm than whatever the hell we've got going on up here right now with the smoke and the heat. We are like in the worst kind of hot box up here. You know, it's like clam baking without the fun. I had to get busy. We had to put a show together tonight because this is, and it's a phrase that we say here a lot, it's the calm before the storm. Tonight's the night that we prepare for this next busy week. We've got a lot going on this week, a lot that we'll be talking about. We've got a lot of catch up to play. We've got a lot of things that I'm going to need to be pushing this week. I did talk to Brandon. I don't know if that was yesterday. I don't know if it was Friday or Saturday. It was all kind of blending together. But we are working on a date. I think it'll be the end of this week. It'll either be the end of this week or maybe the first of like a week from tonight. We'll find out when it'll be. When we can do a show about JD and the tax plan. It is time. So we've been talking about that. But we've got a lot of things going on. And it's going to be a busy week. So we're going to have to get into it. It is also my birthday week. So that's a thing that we will actually, no, it's not. This is not actually my birthday week. Next week's my birthday week. It's a week from tonight. So we'll deal with that then too. Really quickly, I want to talk about what Nefarious said here, Dark Side of Muncie, who asked if I had heard anything about the shootings last night. And yeah, well, so the only thing I heard was about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, somebody's, hey, look at this. I knew I liked you for some reason. The 31st. Good July, end of July birthdays. That's good. No, about 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning, somebody messaged me and said, hey, you haven't been over here in industrial neighborhood, have you? And I was like, no, why? And they're like, well, there are some people that's been shot up. And I was like, nope, not me. And so that happened last night. If you guys have not heard, Muncie police investigating 3 shootings early Sunday today, from late Saturday into early Sunday. Muncie police are investigating shootings of 3 people early morning Sunday, July 19th, according to Melissa Criswell, Muncie Police Department Deputy Chief. Police and emergency medical responders were sent to a report of shots fired in the area of 1st and Ebright Streets about 1 a.m. 3 shooting victims were found in the area and were taken by ambulance to IU Health Ball Memorial Hospital. Criswell said information on the victims' conditions at the time of this report was not available. The Muncie Police Department has contained the potential scene. Criswell said in a release, no further information is available at this time while the investigation is ongoing. Early Sunday afternoon, several Muncie police cars remained in the area. Yellow crime scene tape surrounded the large area bounded by Hackley Street on the west, Beacon Street on the east, Kirby Avenue on the south. Delaware County Coroner Gavin Green said there were no shooting-related deaths in Muncie overnight. 2 of the local shooting victims were reportedly transferred to hospitals in Indianapolis. And so just an FYI so people can know, while there might not have been a shooting death in Muncie overnight, if the death would have occurred of a Muncie resident, but they died in Indianapolis, while I think our coroner would eventually be notified, that wouldn't be the first coroner to be called because the death is investigated by the coroner where the death occurs. So if you are shot in Muncie but transferred to Indy or Fort Wayne or Dayton and the person dies in one of those areas, that's where the death is investigated. Now, the investigation would lead to Muncie, but I don't know if there's been any follow-up in how the condition is. I'm just letting people know. I'm hoping and praying that there have not been any fatalities as a result of this, but just because Gavin's saying that there have been no shooting deaths related to this overnight does not mean that something didn't happen in Indianapolis if two of the people were transferred to Indy. I'm not saying there have been or isn't. I'm just letting you guys know that. Anyone with information on the incident is asked to call the police department's criminal investigation division, 765-747-4867. So I'm going to go back here now because I can see there's been a lot of comments here. Shooting at first in Ebright, Muncie, yes. Lewiston, Auburn, daily shootings, that's horrible. There's one we have in common, Brother Leo. 29th, all right. Craig Ring, LOL. I don't know why I said LOL out loud. I could have just laughed. I think I thought in my mind I was typing. That happens. It's when you've been on the computer too long. That's interesting. I've got 3 Leo birthdays. Oh yeah, August. Yeah. Kate is crazy. Long live the Republic. Okay. Other than that, I have not heard anything else about the shooting. And while we stay involved with that and kind of know what's going on, it's not really things that we cover. I think probably I'm not trying to drop this in his lap, but if you're interested in maybe following up with that, maybe check out The Dark Side of Muncie and Darius's channel. Definitely a lot of good content over there, whether it's related to this or not. A lot of good content there, so definitely check him out. While we do have some things coming up here soon related to Henry County, we don't specifically have much Henry County information tonight. I am going to start by saying just this brief little thing. So, as you guys know, on Thursday, we did a quick little show, Thursday evening, 10 minutes. I was in the other part of the studio here, and I just did a little 10-minute talk about with you. And then we went into the weekend, and that was that. And I said that I had some things that I would be following up on this weekend. I had some record requests to type. I had some emails to get out, and I was going to be playing around on social media this weekend. And it's really interesting to me that people have such a hard time following the written word. I just the fact that people it's just this deal. It's the same thing that Brandon and I talk about with this plan of JD Prescott's. Everybody listens to what he says or hear what he talks about, and the first thing they say is, yeah, I can get on board with that. No property taxes. But those are the people that read the headlines but don't read the articles. So you're missing most of the important stuff. It's like getting a hamburger and eating the bun and throwing everything else away. You know, it'd be one thing if you got the hamburger and you pulled the bun away and you ate the meat and the lettuce and the cheese and everything that was on it, and you threw the buns away. But it's like these idiots go and they order a hamburger and they get it and they immediately take the top bun off, throw everything else into the trash can, and then eat the bread. And I just, for the love of God, I cannot understand this. So this, I'll be honest, wasn't even my idea. It wasn't even my idea. So somebody contacted me a couple of days ago, and someone said, hey, have you noticed that John Sproul's social media presence has been just absolutely non-existent since he lost the primary. And I said, you know what? That's funny that you mentioned that. Because I was just talking to somebody about that the day before. Now, wasn't talking about posting anything. I was just making mention that I noticed that basically since he lost, he stopped doing anything that he used to do. And by that, what I mean is John is one of those people that if it wasn't for social media, you would think the guy didn't exist prior, meaning every little thing he did, he stopped and took a picture. Let me give you an example, okay? This is not all the time, all right? I'm going to be very clear about that. I was just talking to my grandparents about this. If I am driving my car, I'm driving, drive, and I come up to a stop sign, and I see a person there holding a sign saying, any little bit will help, we'll work for food, please give me money, I need fentanyl, whatever their sign says, okay? Most of the time, like a lot of other people, I drive right on by. Because there are times when people are pulling a scam or they're not doing what they could be. But then there are legitimate cases where people are in real bad, dire need. And the way I roll with that is frequently when I'm just praying and going about my thoughts with my communication with God, I always say kind of point me in the right direction, and there will be times when I will be driving. Sometimes I'll be in a really big hurry. Sometimes I'll be thinking there's a lot of stuff going on, and I'll be driving, and way up, I'll see just a little blip, and I'll know what it is. It's somebody standing on the side of the road. Don't know if it's a man or a woman. Don't know what the sign says. Don't know if they're new there. Don't know if they've ever been there. But I will instantly get this little ping in my chest and in my head, and it says, give that person $1, give that person $5 or whatever, Doesn't happen every day, doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes that'll pop into my mind, and I will do it. If I'm being told, and I don't know where it's coming from, I have to assume it's coming from God. But if I'm being told, hey, you should probably pull over and do this, I do it. Doesn't happen all the time. I'm not apparently commanded to do that all the time, or my mind or my brain or my heart doesn't tell me to do it all the time. It just happens when it happens. And when it happens, I do it. There have been times that I have been told that, and I've not had money on me. And I've went to the cash mover and I've got out $5. And I've went back and given the person $5 because I'm commanded in my mind to do this. I don't stop. I don't always stop and then say, whoa. Can you turn around here? You're facing the sun. I need to get a shot of this and so I can post it on social media. And honestly, if I'm not telling, and I'm not telling this so you guys are like patting me on the back, I don't even want to talk about it. I'm just telling you, I do that in silence. I do that as I feel I'm being commanded, and I go about my life. And I don't know John. I don't know John's walk with his Savior. I don't know John's walk in his life. I know how John puts himself out there. But what I do know about John is it looks like a lot of the things that he does it to say, look at me, look what I've done. Okay. And another story about this I can tell you. As a former law enforcement officer, I am fully aware that jails and prisons have done baptism programs for a very, 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 very long time. Absolutely, Kate. Do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Matt 6'3", absolutely. And these baptism programs that these prisons and these jails do, you don't see them. You don't see them posting it, live streaming it, and doing this thing. However, Sproles started doing that. And I said from the very get-go, it's a great program he's doing. I don't think that he should be live streaming it. I don't think he should be posting about it. If somebody is an inmate and they feel compelled to tell their story, okay, I think fully that they could ask the jail staff, hey, could you send me a picture of this? Could you take a picture of it and provide this to me or provide this to my family? And then if that person wants to tell their story, they should be permitted to. I don't know that it's John's story to tell. I don't know that it's jail commander Stacy Guffey's story to tell. I don't know that it's the Henry County government's story to tell. I don't know that it's anyone's story other than those specific people. And you know what? Maybe those people don't care that he tells. Maybe some of it's real. Maybe some of it's jailhouse religion. I'm not here to say one way or another on all of that. I am here to say that I feel that Sproles, like most of you are saying in the comments, he's tooting his own horn. He's putting on a show. And me and the person I was talking to noticed that he was doing this. And then somebody else out of the blue, a citizen of Henry County, messaged me and said the same thing. Hey, John's social media, since he lost in May, has been basically non-existent. And I agree. I absolutely agreed with that. You see here, here's his last post that I can see, May 6th, right there. Hasn't posted anything since. Okay. Let's not just stop there. Let's go to the Henry County Sheriff's Office page. Okay. We can click here and see what Henry County Sheriff's Office, Henry County, here we go. Okay. All right. Well, now look, 4 minutes ago, looky here, 4 minutes ago, his sheriff's office, Henry County, Indiana, Eat, Pray, Love, now accepting reserve applications. 4 minutes ago, hallelujah, the Lord works in mysterious ways. Okay, prior to that, however, prior to 4 minutes ago, his last post was on May 25th. And it was of the parade. And this was because Elite Tax Service took video. It's not even something that he was doing. Okay, before that was and this is the whole Henry County page. So who knows who was putting this on. Here's May 17th, the dogs here. And then before that, March 12th. Okay, so what I'm saying here is it's interesting to me that, yes, like Kate's saying, to me, that's proof that everything was for PR rather than out of the goodness of his heart. Listen, if it was just his way of trying to plant those mustard seeds everywhere and he's out there posting it and it's legitimate, that's one thing. But if it was, it wouldn't have a start and an end date. He would just always do it. But to me, it coincides with his election process, okay? And he got beat in May, so there's no point in moving forward with it. So I made a post because a citizen brought it to my attention, a citizen from Henry County. I made a post that showed a couple of his social media things, and it was a very simple post. I said, any word on where lame duck Sheriff John M. Sproles has been? Now, listen to these words, okay? Because I feel like a lot of people got confused by what I was saying. And I specifically wrote this in a way that people wouldn't, but yet they still did. This is eating the bun, not the meat. They were reading the headline, not the article. I said, any word on where lame duck Sheriff John Sproles has been? I mean, don't get me wrong. I am aware he's around. But I have noticed there's been very little activity on his social media accounts. Whereas up until May 2026, he had been very active. Okay. I want you to listen to this again. Any word on where lame duck Sheriff John M. Sproles has been? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm aware he's around, but I've noticed there's been very little activity on his social media accounts, whereas up until May of 2026, he had been very active. It's as if all of the sudden there hasn't been a reason to post super cute / cringy staged photos with kids. Have the jail baptisms stopped? Or maybe just the need to take photos of the ordeal and post them has ended. Interesting. Hashtag lame duck. Hashtag countdown to January 1st. That was the post. Okay. I didn't get on here and say that John Sproles, he's a mother. He's a bad guy. I didn't talk bad about his mom. I didn't talk bad about his wife. I didn't talk about him personally. I ask a generic question. And listen, I want to be clear. Social media is nothing. I'm not like one of these people who lives online. Okay. I was born in a world that didn't have computers. I went through my entire school career without. We were one of the last people to get computers. Okay. I think I finally got on AOL maybe my senior year. You know what I mean? I just didn't interact with that. I didn't have a cell phone till I was 20. I was into college before I had a cell phone. Okay. I don't social media. I don't post pictures of me and smiling people. I don't post pictures of food that I eat. Everything I do on social media is the presentation of my show and of politics and of getting my message out. I don't social media. If I didn't do this show, okay, if I packed it up next year and went back and started selling cars, I would use social media to sell cars. But other than that, I would not use social media. If I hit the lottery next week and became, instantly uber wealthy and just didn't do anything, I would delete Facebook. I would delete Twitter. I don't have Snapchat. I don't really do Instagram. I don't do Instagram at all. I only watch things on TikTok. You can look. I don't social media stuff. Well, yeah, that is true. But I didn't have one at home. We didn't have one at home. I had one at school, a computer we played on. But I didn't have a computer at home until my senior year. I didn't understand what, like, I messed around with computers. Like, I guess that's not true. Like, I had a computer at my dad's house. It didn't connect to the internet. Like, I remember being like 12 years old and having like the green screen, the MS-DOS, and I thought that I was trying to hack into, like, I was playing war games in my mind, but I was just basically tearing the computer up. more than likely. I was just deleting things that I shouldn't have been deleting, and it didn't go nowhere. It didn't do anything. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Very rudimentary. It's basically the same way I can use computers today. Oh, delete this. Delete this. You know what I mean? And it's like, you system error. You know, I am not technologically savvy. I promise you. I know it seems like, oh, it's a podcast. He's got a microphone. I have stumbled through learning this crap. Okay. The point behind that is I'm not busting this guy's balls because he's not on social media. Real life doesn't happen on social media. But up until May of this year, you couldn't have convinced me that he knew that. So it was just really odd. That's what a lot of people are commenting on here about, because I made this post and people lost their ever-loving mind because of this. Now, most of the people commented and was like, yes, he's probably been strongly advised by the legal department to keep his mouth shut. Every time he opens his mouth, it costs taxpayers thousands and the county to defend his words, let alone his ill-intended actions. You know, there's people doing that. And there's people saying, is he even still working? He said it himself. He's only required to work 1 day a year. A lot of people said, yeah, I seen him around. I saw him drive. Listen, I'm not saying he's gone. He's missing. Okay. I specifically said, like, this is about what's happening. Somebody said, can you explain why you're inquiring about Sheriff Sproul's activities? I clicked on that person's profile specifically because I thought maybe she was like 12 and she didn't get it. But I looked at her and listen, okay, in a scale of me or my grandparents, she's younger than my grandparents. Okay. So she's younger than my grandparents. She's older than me, probably by 20 years. Okay, she's probably older than like my mother or like my father would be. She's older than my mom and stepdad, you know. So she's older than my parents, younger than my grandparents. So like she could be like one of my grandma's youngest sisters. My grandma was the youngest. But if my grandma had younger sisters, this woman could probably be one of those in age is what I'm talking about, okay? So I saw how old she was, meaning, you know, she's young in life, but she's older than me. And I was very shocked by her comment. It just blew me away. How could somebody so on in life ask a question, can you explain why you're inquiring about Sheriff Sproul's activities? So I wrote and said, this seems like a really silly question for someone your age. But I will indulge you. A sheriff, any sheriff, is a public servant. Sheriffs are elected by the public to serve the public, and this sheriff has done a poor job of that over the past 4 years. Members of the community, the media, and others need to keep a close eye on public officials, all public officials. That accountability helps prevent elected officials from becoming arrogant, unaccountable, corrupt, or otherwise abusing the authority entrusted to them. Example, Jamie Knoll. Does anybody know Jamie Knoll? The name Jamie Knoll? Hey, by the way, if you guys haven't watched the documentary that they have made on Jamie Knoll, you need to watch it. You need to watch it. I'm trying to think of the exact name of it.
I'll get it and I'll put the link in the comments.
Yes, if you can do that. If you're looking for it, I think I've shared it to you, but I think it's called Jamie Knoll, like Tarnished or something like that. Yeah, Kate will put that below, but you guys need to watch. Yes, it's called Tarnished the Badge. Tarnish the Badge, the Jamie Knoll story. It's about an hour long. I would highly recommend everybody watching it. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. But so I put that there. I said, thankfully, Sproles was defeated in the May 2026 primary election. However, he'll still remain in office until midnight on January 1st, 2027. Until then, he continues to be paid with taxpayer money, and the public at large, as well as I, a political commentator, will have a duty to continue scrutinizing his conduct and his performance. That said, this post is not specifically asking where he has been or what he has been doing. I don't care where he's been or what he's doing. I do not believe he's missing. I know he's been around, and I assume he has continued to do whatever it is that he does in his official capacity. The question is more specific. Throughout his time in office, and especially leading up to the May 2026 election, he appeared far more interested in photo opportunities and self-promotion than in quietly serving the public because it was the right thing to do. His concern often seemed to be about making himself look good and ensuring that people saw him attending events, posing for pictures, or appearing involved. But after he lost the primary election, those photo opportunities and public displays seemed to disappear. That raises a legitimate question. If those appearances were truly about serving the public, why did they largely stop once there was no electoral benefit? Things that make you, or well, me, go, So yeah, right. His helmet and beanbags. So I posted that to her. Of course, she responds with, "Sir, sounds like you should be the perfect sheriff." Okay, so I'm dealing with an individual who has a very low IQ. My apologies. I will not engage. I don't like punching down. My apologies. I hope they're treating you well in the home. Okay. Then really what blows me away, what truly blows me away is this person, Miriam Jill Roberts Shelton. Now, generally, I would not mention her name, but she did post this on my wall in a publicly open comment section so anyone can see it. And I feel like she's probably strong enough to take on any and all comers because that's what she portrays here. The world is divided into two categories, the Christians and the sinners. It has not been hard to see that Sproles belongs to the Christian side and Bilbrey belongs on the sinner side. That's interesting. And yeah, I think I could see, I think that Sproles probably does cast himself outside of the sinner's circle, which in my mind, I'm not playing her games. I'm saying there's the one of us that was perfect, if you're a believer, would be Jesus. And then the rest of us sinners. I don't cast myself outside of that. Yes, I am a sinner. So is Sproles. I don't know why he would be deemed better than me. I don't see that. But apparently in their circle, he is better than the average Joe. Okay. He's just a little below Jesus there. Sproles is apparently. Bilbrey belongs on the sinner side. Keep digging, Bilbrey. You're going to dig yourself right into hell. We also have two categories in politics, the Republican conservatives, which try to stand by Christian values and the Bible, and the Democrats stand against God and for everything evil. Again, it's not hard to understand which side Bilbrey supports. the Democrats. Yes, because I'm a lifelong Democrat. Keep slamming, Bilbrey, and you won't have anyone to even be a pallbearer. For when your time comes, and that time was set for you when you were born, are you ready to stand before God? You will be judged just like everyone else. Dude, I have never seen... Look, this is a thing that people have with Christians. They say that Christians tend to be real judgy. A lot of Christians tend to be real judgy. And that is a problem that people have, which is wild to me because one of the main tenets of Christianity is not to judge, to allow that to be the Lord's job. You know what I mean? But these people just love to pile it on. And it shocks me. It shocks me when these people do this. And I wasn't even mean back to her. I said, ma'am, you need to do some serious research if you think that your dear Sheriff Sproles is a truly conservative. I did not say anything about being Christian. I'm not judging him. I don't know if he's Christian or not. I don't know where he stands. That's between him and his Lord. Okay? I said, if you think that Sproles is a true conservative, you have to do some serious research. He is not. Nor am I a Democrat. That said, I will not comment on his relationship with God, just as you should not have much more to say about my relationship with God. But just to be clear, asking questions about holding public servants accountable is not an unchristian act. It's strange you associate those things. I'm sorry you have such a problem with me holding government officials accountable, but that's like your problem, not mine. To which her answer to all of that was, yes, he is, and he comes from a great family. Okay, I'm working with somebody who has a lower IQ and cannot comprehend. You know, that's the whole thing. There are a lot of people that I like politically that a lot of other people don't. Or there are people that I like as people, but I don't like them politically. The fact that you can't deal with that. This is the reason I don't do social media. Because you don't win. I had my attorney a long time ago say, don't get in the comments and fight. You only come down off of your lofty seat up there as the host of the show to smack people around in the comments just every so often. You don't come down and fight because there's no point in fighting it out down here. This is where the sewer rats live. You can't do it. You know, you got people that watch your show that go to bat for you and to fight in the comments. You just come down when you need to smack somebody down. That's the reason I don't comment. I get people that ask me all the time. Why don't you respond in the comments? I say, I will respond to you if you send me a message. But if I'm making a post and I'm writing the post out, I've said my piece. Now, that's for the rest of you people to fight out. I have no more fight in me. I've said my piece. I say my piece 5 nights a week at 9 p.m. This is where I say my part. Okay? That's exactly true, Stumblefoot. That's probably more realistic. But it's just interesting. So that's that. And I tell you what, man, anytime the Sproles thing comes out, and I'll tell you, for every post that there was in support of him, and there was like 4 of them, there were 40 more people posting negatively. They can't wait till he's gone. They'll be happy when we get a new sheriff in, meaning them down there, the Henry County citizens. It's a disaster, man. It's not a good thing down there. They've got a lot of craziness going on. I have a lot of things going on in Dunreath that I'm looking into, a lot of stuff in Henry County, and we will be getting into that. But I just don't have any information really to put out a good show. I will tell you guys coming up soon, within the next week or two, I'm going to do a Henry County show dealing with various parts of Sproles and the Sheriff's Department, dealing with Dunreath, and dealing with the Knightstown stuff, because Knightstown, the Knightstown special election should be happening soon. So we'll be talking about that. Yes. Now we are going to talk about we're going to get into Muncie here in a little bit. And basically what I'm doing tonight is I'm using tonight to kind of set you up with what's going to be happening the rest of this week, and kind of telling you guys what to look out for, and covering some bits and pieces from some hangover stuff from last week, and setting some things up for the rest of this week. So moving on from Henry County, now talking about Muncie. We have a lot of things Muncie-wise that we need to talk about. As it relates to Jeff Howe, as it relates to all of the stuff, like, I feel like it's so funny to me that Dan said that he was coming back and he was not going to look backwards. Everything was going to be focusing on moving forward. And so far, since he's been in office, since he's returned to office, everything he's been doing has been trying to put out fires since he's been gone. It was exactly like what I said. He left out on May 29th. He had that weekend, and then Monday, June 1st, and then surgery was on Tuesday. So he had one day that he could have been at work, but he was at home, before his surgery. And essentially, the city business stopped on May 29th. And when he came back last Wednesday, that's like June 1st picked up. Yeah, isn't that funny, Alva, how that happens? Like, that's the first thing that's said anytime you talk about any of these people. And that's the first thing that doesn't kill me. Like, look, John might be a good person to his family, to his friends, to the people who, I don't see that. But I'm not talking about him personally. I don't care about him as a person. I care about him as the public servant. Okay? Dan might be a good person. I don't know anything about him personally. I don't care about him personally. I only care about him as his role as the mayor. Okay? So it's always interesting that anytime you talk about someone, the very first thing that their supporters do is say, well, they're such good people. They come from a good family. They attend a good church. They're really good people. Okay, well, that's not what they're showing. So last week, first we're going to start with we'll go in order. So it's Sunday night. Tomorrow is Monday the 20th. We have a Delaware County Commissioners meeting tomorrow. The Delaware County Commissioners meeting it's the second meeting of the month. It will be held tomorrow at 9 a.m. and I have the agenda here. I want to pull this agenda up, and we'll just briefly go through this so you guys can see if there's anything. Yeah, if there's anything that could be happening, if we might see another Fred and Ed showdown. Man, I tell you, I would love nothing more than to see a little Fred and Ed action, one-on-one. Something tells me they were probably told to cool it by Brand and the commissioners. I could see Fred, but I don't know that Fred has it in him. I think Fred will just tell it how it is. If Fred's pissed off, I think Fred's going to tell it. Do Fred right, and it'll be okay. Do Fred wrong, and the whole town's going to know. And I just think that's how he is. So we kick in Appointments Board of Health, Civic Center Authority, One Touch Initiative. I'm interested in what's going on with that One Touch Initiative deal. Delaware County American Tower Audit Lease Amendment Request. Kimberly, Kutzler, Brook, and Struble. That'll be interesting. Commissioners meeting July 6th. Approval of minutes. Presentations. Target shooting. I'm interested in what this target shooting is. I don't know what that is. That'll be interesting to see. DeSoto Station Subdivision. USA Select Update. That's Bill Walters. That'll be interesting. Oh, look at this. Justice Center, Bot Amendment, and Path to GMP. So I don't know what that is. I'll be watching for that. 2027 bundling and unbundling of medical, dental, vision, Stephen Brand. Retiree insurance premiums. Lee Royal, Stephen Brand. Hyde Park Neighborhood Cleanup Liability Waiver, Heather Williams. Right Stuff Software Housing Agreement, Ed Carroll. Right Stuff Software Housing Agreement, Ed Carroll. This is where we could see it. Peterson Consulting Services, Ed Carroll. If there's going to be a Fred and Ed part 3, it will be under one of these points on the agenda. So just FYI. So just so you guys can be aware, the meeting starts at 9. I would say this will be happening about 9:30, about 9:45, because all this other stuff will probably take about 30 to 40 minutes, maybe longer. 10, maybe have till 10. So just FYI. Tax certificate request, Cowan Paving interlocal agreement, Justice Center fire alarm and backflow repair, Don Chambers, letter of support 2026 Promise Neighborhood Grant, Stephen Brand, Jackson Street Bridge quote, Dean Thomas, GAI Consultants master agreement, Dean Thomas. I'll be interested to know what this is. Warranty deed, Wright Farms, warranty deed, Schaefer. Ordinances for first reading, an ordinance creating a new fund for the grant received by the Delaware County Metropolitan Plan Commission for the Unified Document Ordinance. Ordinances for second reading, being an ordinance to amend the Delaware County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance. Resolutions for approval, none. Old business, contractor permits, Highway Department, Township Annual Report, Township Standards and Guidelines, Ordinance 1320 is junk vehicles. 2815 South Monroe Street, Chris Young. Request for resolution to close Delaware County 312. That's old. Commissioner-owned property. I hope that guy gets it. At this property at 1943 West 8th Street, I hope this dude gets it. I don't know what that is, but I hope he gets it. Travel policy, mowing. Ordinance 812A, Stephen Brand. Form 144. JRP, Jane Miranda, weekly, quarterly reports, payment of claims in the last 2 weeks, 4,767 check, $4,767,216.50. Payment of tool allowance, $2,750. Public comments, questions, other business, and discussions. All public comments are limited to 3 minutes. Speaker must sign in before 9 a.m. And other bullshit. So there's that. That's the meeting. They're telling how long the meeting would last if 100 people were asking questions or making public comments. That would be amazing. That would be fantastic. Yeah, that GAI. But what I think is, the reason I said I don't know what this is, that'll be interesting, is because that's the, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the engineering firm that's dealing with the deal in Yorktown that Amber and them were getting shitty about at the Redevelopment Commission. I don't know that 100%. I think it could be, just FYI. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on there. Of course, two of the three commissioners sit on the Redevelopment Commission, so it's not like they don't know what's happening. So that's a good possibility. Alva. So that is that. Other than that, I'm not looking for any kind of great big surprises or anything going on tomorrow. I don't see anything other than just what it could be. So we will have to see what goes on from there. Okay, that then takes us, do it, Alva, to Tuesday. On Tuesday, we have the City of Muncie Parks Board meeting. Now, what's going to happen? Are you guys having a hard time seeing me? Is it like glitchy? I tell you what we'll do. Give me a second. We'll take a break here. Let me see if I can fix this. And you guys sit tight. We will be right back. We'll get back to this when we return. You guys are listening to the 703rd episode of the Political Spotlight. We'll be right back. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. So we've dealt with the Delaware County Commissioners meeting on Tuesday, the 21st. We will get to see what's going to happen with the Muncie City Parks situation. That's right. It's time for a Muncie City Parks meeting. I am interested into hearing what they have to say about Prairie Creek Reservoir. Keep in mind, folks, we are just a couple of months away from the 1-year anniversary of Mayor Ridenour announcing that there was not going to be any camping for 1 year as we started to build back better. I don't know why he used that term, that phrase, on the campground out there. Now, I will tell you, they have been mowing, and I'll tell you the only reason they got off their asses and mowed was because of the Ironman. Now, when I say that, I want to be very clear. I am not giving a hard time to the employees of the Prairie Creek. Giving a hard time to their men and women that he has him. Any hard to I'm giving a hard time to the mayor, to Hal, if he's going to be the deputy mayor or whatever the deal goes there. I'm giving them a hard time. And so, yes, tomorrow is Tuesday, or excuse me, that day, the meeting in question will be Tuesday, July 21st. And I am interested to know if Hal will be there. Will Hal give an update to the Parks Board meeting? Will they get to hear, the folks get to hear what he's saying about Tui Pool? Does he have something to say about Tui Pool? Will he be there to begin with? Time will tell. I don't know. He hasn't been there for the last 2 meetings. He was not there in May, and he should have been per his contract. He was not there in June, and now time will tell if he'll be there Tuesday or not. My money is he won't be there. I think that he won't be there. we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. I just, but I am going to do my best. And when I go to that meeting, I am going to stand before the park board and I'm going to ask them if they were aware of this arrangement. And we're going to finally see once and for all what their thoughts are on hearing this information about Howell's involvement with Tui Pool and everything that's gone on there, about his supposed contract that says that he has to present them with information that he hasn't done for the last 2 months. Will he do it for the third month? Will he not do it for the third month? Time will tell. We'll have to see. From there, we go on to Wednesday. Of course, that will be Wednesday's a big day. That will be Board of Works Day, Muncie Sanitary District Board meeting, and then that will be the Public Services Committee meeting. Now, let me tell you all, the Board of Works meeting and the Sanitary District meeting, I am planning on attending. I want to go. I want to ask them questions. God willing, I'll be there, be able to ask them questions and get some things locked down. I'm sure they won't answer, but we'll try to find out. As far as the Public Services Committee meeting, I told you all last week that Jerry had called and told me, that Nora had told me. I think that I also told you that Roe had told me. So we all knew last week that the Public Services Committee meeting was scheduled for 5:30 this coming Wednesday, July 22nd. Well, Friday early morning, I was told that there had been some issues with the possibility of meeting Wednesday. So I sent out the following email to all of the council members. I said, hello, a couple of days ago, I was informed that a second attempt to hold a Public Service Committee meeting was scheduled for Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. Now I am hearing there might be some hiccups with that meeting date time and the possibility of having it live streamed. So I was told, number one, that the committee had scheduled the meeting and they had let everybody know, but they had not let the communications director know, and that the communications director had found out at the last minute. She had also found out at the last minute on the first one that they had. Okay. And so because of that, there was a little bit of question on whether or not they would be having the Professional Services Committee meeting on Wednesday, the 22nd at 5:30. Now, keep in mind, this meeting is the meeting where we're supposed to be finding out the information pertaining to the financials for the Muncie Fire Department and that proposal for their project, Station 5. I said, can anybody here confirm whether the Public Services Committee meeting is still set for 5:30 on Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026, or has that been scrapped? If so, is there a new date or time? And I would also say that you guys need to be aware there are two main features of this Public Services Committee meeting that need to happen. First, everyone should be in attendance this time. The mayor should be there and or someone from his team. The controller and deputy controller should be there. The fire chief should be there. The bond counsel, GM development, and city attorneys. And everyone should come prepared ready to answer questions. Secondly, and also important, the meeting should definitely be live streamed / recorded. Does anybody know whether everything stands with this meeting? And I sent that out at 1:30 on Friday the 17th. Well, after I sent that, I received emails from District 4 City Councilor Sarah Gullion, who said, I do not know if this meeting is being rescheduled. Although I am a member of this committee, I have never been contacted in the scheduling phase. I find that to be interesting. That's my words. She goes on to say, I found out we are meeting both times for the first meeting and this only when Lacey Jones and myself had sent emails to everyone. Also, I was not aware of Amber's concerns about live streaming before the last meeting, but would agree with her that they should be informed before the time of scheduling. Sarah Gullion. And I'm like, wait a minute, what are we talking about? Well, just about that time, I received an email from Amber, and Amber's email reads as follows. Mr. Bilbrey, thank you for your email. While I cannot speak to the current status of the Public Services Committee meeting or whether it is proceeding as scheduled, I can provide some context that may help clarify the situation. Please see the attached email exchange, which includes my email to the City Council and the subsequent response from Lacey in the clerk's office. As you will see, although the council has requested members of the administration attend the committee meeting, neither the administration nor anyone involved with live streaming were included in the notification of the committee meeting. Additionally, my concerns regarding live streaming were raised prior to the previous committee meeting because I was given less than 48 hours notice of a meeting schedule for a Friday evening. That limited notice made it difficult to coordinate staff and ensure the meeting could be streamed. In sending my email to the council today, my hope was simply to ensure that the live streaming remains a consideration when future committee meetings are scheduled so that adequate notice can be provided and the necessary arrangements can be made. I hope this provides some helpful context. And so she included She included an email attachment that goes as follows. Lacey Jones sent out an email on Wednesday the 15th to the fire chief, GM Development, the Bose McKinney attorney, the deputy fire chief, Belinda Munson, the council attorney, Jerry Dishman. Good morning, everyone. Jerry Dishman, chair of the Public Services Committee, has scheduled the Public Services Committee meeting relating to the Fire Station number 5 project. It will be next Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. At his request, I'm sending this email out containing the public notice, the agenda items to be discussed, ordinance 926, resolutions 1026, and resolution 1126. Feel free to send me any other materials that you may think may be useful for the council to have, and I can make sure it is included in their packet for their regular August meeting, as well as in the official file for the record keeping. Please try to attend this meeting to answer any questions the Public Services Committee and or City Council may have. Thank you, Lacey. Okay. So that was Lacey's email to everybody on the 15th. Okay, so I don't see a follow. I don't see the email from Amber to Lacey. I see a follow-up from Lacey to Amber that says, hi, Amber. Apologies for the delay. I was under the impression Jerry had already talked to you or the administration about this, but apparently he did not. I just got off the phone with him. Going forward, I will be sure to include you in all the communications regarding the committee meetings. So I'm trying to find out if Amber provided her email. It doesn't look like she did. No. So I'll have to get Amber's in-between emails. That being said, and a lot of you are not going to like saying, me and Kate talked about this the other day. So I don't like Amber's excuses. I don't want to hear any excuses from Amber, and I don't care. Her job is to live stream the meetings. She needs to be there to live stream the meetings. If they've hired someone else to do it, she needs to be in charge of that person. that person needs to be there. If that person can't be there, Amber needs to be there. If Amber and that person can't be there, they either need to tell the council people, hey, we can't do it this day, or we need to do something on some other day. Okay. One of those things. I don't care to hear any of her. I don't care to hear any excuses. I don't care to hear say, well, I get paid to do, I don't get paid to do this. Da, 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 da. That's the job. You got to get it done. That being said, notice is 48 hours. If for some reason the council is making meetings and they are giving 48 hours or more notice, but for some reason they're not giving notice to the administration or to the people that need to be there, well, no wonder nobody was there. So I'll be honest. If Jerry and or the president of the council was not notifying the parties that need to be there to make the meeting go, if the public's not being notified, it's a problem. If they have questions of the administration and the administration is not being notified, there is a problem. If Dennis Otten, the attorney from Bose McKinney and Evans, is not being notified, that is a problem. If the council's not notifying the clerk, that's a problem. So I will take Amber and the administration's team's side for the last meeting. That being said, 48 hours for Wednesday's meeting will be Monday. The fact that Amber found out about it on Friday, look, if she wants to be if she wants to be shitty to Jerry and to the council, I'm fine with that. Do it behind the doors, closed doors, and make them know that they need to notify you. Don't take it out on the public, and you need to do your job. She found out in enough time. Somebody's got to be there, and the meeting should not be canceled. I will tell you that at the end of the day on Friday, I did hear from Jerry Dishman again. I talked to Jerry Dishman like 3 times last week, not complaining. If he's willing to give me information and he's willing to call, have at it. I love it. That's a good thing. I love it. I love it. I love it. He did call me at the end of the day on Friday and say the meeting is in play for Wednesday. So we will be there. Everybody knows. Everybody's live streaming. I am taking my camera system just in case something stupid happens. I'm not going to screw around with the possibility of not getting this information on videotape for people. I'm not going to live stream it. I'm going to record it. So we will do that, but it will be recorded. I believe it will be live streamed because I believe that we've made a big enough stink that everybody knows. So unless we get there and they say, well, something's wrong with the equipment. And as we can see, sometimes, tech shit happens. That's fine. They still have the ability to record it, but I'm going to make sure it's recorded either way. So we will be there, and God willing, and everything will be done. So that's Wednesday. Okay. Now, that being said, we still have to make up for last Thursday's redevelopment commission meeting, and that has not occurred yet. To my knowledge, we have not been given a date for when that's going to happen. I am willing to bet that they just won't do a follow-up meeting. They just won't do a follow-up meeting for Thursday's redevelopment commission meeting because they don't want to go and get yelled at for 2 hours by the public. And of course, that whole ordeal is over the veto of Ordinance 1326. And this brings us to the last part of the show, which we're going to talk about the questions that I have that remain, my emails that I've been sending out, and the record requests that I've been sending out. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back from that, we're going to talk about this and then wrap her up. You guys sit tight. We'll be right back and we'll finish up the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the Ordinance 1326. We were talking about my questions that still remain, council's thoughts, my thoughts. So I told you last week that Rose Selvey had been on vacation and that we chatted. When Dan came back to work on Wednesday, I had some questions that I wanted to ask both Dan and Hal. And it took me a minute to compile everything, to get everything out the way that I wanted it to be. So the first email I sent to the mayor and to whatever he's still called, George Jeffrey Howe, the MRC director, was a short and simple email asking what his title would be moving forward. I just simply wanted to know what his title will be, because we know that he's the MRC director per a never approved appropriately contract and per some addenda that was apparently voted on a couple weeks ago. But we know that before the mayor left, the mayor called him deputy mayor. So I want to know, does he retain the deputy mayor title? Is he going back to the MRC director? What's going on here? So I just simply asked, what's his title? What are his duties? What is his pay? When are you planning to fix this? And what are you planning to do about the confusion relating to it? Okay. Well, I haven't got a response back, but I'm going to email my second email to them. They'll have it tomorrow when they go in. Other than that, I then sent a follow-up email pertaining to his veto letter. And that letter is as follows. I sent this to both the mayor and to Jeffrey Howe. And I said, these questions are for Howe, but mayor right now can answer them, anything that he knows the answer to or can provide the answer to. I have some questions about the letter that you authored on Thursday, July 9th, regarding your veto of Ordinance 1326. For guidance, I have included your letter in the attachments below and highlighted portions indicating the areas I am referencing. First off, I am fully aware that you completely are within your right to veto the ordinance. However, as a public servant, I want you to stand behind that decision. Your claim is that once you found out that it was going forward, you had staff research the various points that you now, on this side of the vote, take issue with. But you had just authored a letter of support for the overlay district on Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026. The ordinance was filed on Thursday, June 18th, 2026. Did you not take the opportunity to look at the ordinance between when you filed it on Thursday, June 18th, and when the council meeting occurred on Monday, July 6th? That is a total of 18 days. I find it shocking that you would not have looked the ordinance over between when it was filed and the meeting. Why did you not review the ordinance 1326 between those two dates? Can you please explain that? I believe if you would have overlooked the ordinance in that time frame, that could have prevented a lot of these issues. Also, I am wanting to know what your exact reason for the support on June 2nd was, if you could outline that here. And then also, I want to know why you don't support it now. Can you please be specific? Moving on. You did not attend the Muncie City Council meetings in June or in July as the acting mayor, as the deputy mayor, or as the MRC director. I find that to be in a poor representation of the city as acting mayor not attending these meetings. As you may or may not know, Mayor Ridenour generally leaves before public speaks because why listen to the public, right? That said, at least he does attend the first 60 to 80% of the meeting. I just think that it looks bad on you to not have attended any of the meetings under your term as mayor. Not being able to hold it down for the home team has a bad look, you know? Can you give a reason why you would not have been at either of these meetings? Specifically, the meeting on July 6th, given that Ordinance 1326 was going to be on the agenda. Why would you not have attended to express your concerns or to tell the council that the support offered that the support that you offered just 34 days earlier on June 2nd, 2026 no longer reflected your position on July 6th? I find it interesting, given what this letter says, that you did not show up to voice any objections. You didn't send a representative to express your views or oppose the measure, nor did you ask that your letter of support from June 2nd not be considered. What changed between your initial support and your decision to veto the ordinance? Most interestingly, however, was what you wrote next. I have highlighted this passage in yellow below. You wrote, at the time of the council's consideration, I expressed concern to some members regarding both the substance of the proposed overlay and the expedited process by which it was advanced. That statement requires significant clarification. If you truly expressed concerns at the time of the council's consideration, several questions need to be addressed. Specifically, when did those concerns first arise? Which councilors did you share those concerns with? Were those concerns expressed before the meeting, during the meeting, or after the meeting? Were the concerns expressed by you to the council folks in person, by telephone, or through email, or through intermediary? You also mentioned the expedited process. However, the process was only expedited because the council voted during the meeting to suspend its own rules. That decision was not made beforehand. It happened in real time. The suspension of the rules was only being considered after the council was asked in live real time to consider suspending those rules. A property owner and myself were the only two individuals to raise that question during the meeting. That makes your statement about objecting to the expedited process odd to me. If you objected before the meeting, how could you have known the process would be expedited? If you objected during the meeting, how was those concerns about the expedited process communicated to the councilors? Which councilors did you communicate your concerns to, and how did you do that? Through text or email? The last part of your letter, which I have questions about, is highlighted in green below in the attachments. You wrote, following the adoption of the ordinance, I directed city staff ... to review the ordinance ... That review identified multiple provisions ... I believe that this is a factual statement. That said, a review like that would have likely generated documents, which means I have the following questions. Which city employees or department heads were involved? I am asking for you to list the names of the people that you would have had working on this. When were they directed to begin their review? Were they given any written instructions? Did you voice those instructions out loud? Did they prepare memoranda? Were emails exchanged between you and any of the employees back and forth? Did you or they seek out legal opinions from the city attorneys? Were draft edits prepared? What documents in total were produced? Why was the veto letter prepared on July 9th, but then not filed until Tuesday, July 14th? If City Hall staff conducted this review and concluded that portions of Ordinance 1326 conflicted with state law and or local ordinance, there should be documentation explaining how those conclusions were reached. Such records should exist if everything occurred as described. Therefore, I am preparing record requests to submit to City Hall under Indiana Access to Public Record Act. I'm sure you do not particularly care, but without supporting information and materials, you're asking the public to accept your conclusion without seeing the underlying analysis. I will be honest, given that this is coming from the Ridenour administration and everything that has happened up until this point, my policy is to no longer give the administration the benefit of the doubt. So you guys just have to show your work like the good public servants you are. Thank you in advance for your time on this matter. I sent that to them, and I sent that out on Friday at about 4 o'clock. So they probably won't have received that until tomorrow. That being said, I also sent that to the council. And I sent that same thing, letting them know what I sent. I said, Muncie City Councilors, I'm forwarding an email I sent to both Ridenour and Howe. I'm sending it to all of you so you can see the questions that I have about Howe's letter. I sent 4 attachments as well, 2 pages of his letter and 2 pages of the example that he provided that make ordinance better, although I'm not sure if I believe that just yet. Anyhow, I highlighted 2 parts of his letter, both in the second paragraph on the first page. I want you to pay close attention to the highlighted portions of the letter and then to my questions about what he's saying. I'm submitting record requests to the administration for the documents listed below. Now, this is where I turn to all of you to ask some questions to you. He says in his letter that he expressed concern to some of the members of the council. I'm asking all of you to confirm or deny what he is saying is true or not. Did Hal reach out to you? And then I ask all of them. Did Hal express any concerns to you about Ordinance 1326? If he did, please tell me when and how he expressed these concerns, what specifically he said. You are going to need to be very specific here because this is going to be a public access issue. Also, just to be clear, I'm aware that the ordinance could have needed work and that could have been handled through amendments. I do not believe it should have been vetoed. My thoughts on this may change before the August 3rd meeting due to things that might come up between now and then. If that happens, I will let you know. But as of right now, I believe that the 9 of you need to vote to override this. More on that to come. But for now, please review this and reply to my questions at your earliest convenience at the following email address. I look forward to your replies. Okay, from this question, it's very interesting. I received the following response from Rose Selvey. Roe was not happy about this. I'm going to let you know. Roe said that she felt that she was disrespected. She stated that she felt like that if this was going to happen, that they should have brought concerns to her before that this went, from the time that it was filed before the Monday, July 6th meeting. He could have brought concerns to her, but he did not. She said that she felt like, okay, maybe he was busy, but he didn't show up to the meeting to express concerns. She felt bothered by that. Then after the meeting, at no point did he contact her and say, hey, by the way, I have an issue with this. I'm going to veto it. Which is generally, it's not law, it's not ordinance. He doesn't have to do that, but that generally happens. So the sponsoring counselor is not, thrown off guard. But he did not do that. No one did. She then went on vacation. Roe likes to take her vacations between council meetings so she doesn't miss anything, like a good council person. That's shocking. I can't believe it. I can't believe I would have to applaud somebody for that or chastise others who don't, but here we are. Look, and I get it. In 4 years, you might miss one, but you think about that. You serve for 4 years. That's 12, 12, 12, and 12. 12 different meetings. If you don't call any special meetings or there isn't anything, just going, off of regular meetings, that's only 48 meetings. Only 48 meetings. So that's that. Yeah, I think she's getting that. I think she's getting the picture, Jeff. I think it's coming to her. But because of that, she feels some kind of way about this. So I think that does that. I think what they don't realize is when they do that to her, that produces results that might not be in their favor. So that's interesting. The meeting dates are all set a year in advance. Out of 9 of them, 1 of them has said he did not contact me. That's Roe. Besides Roe, Sarah Gallion contacted me. Sarah Gallion said, I never heard from Hal, as you may have suspected. Yes, I may have suspected that Hal did not hear from, or that Gallion did not hear from Hal. So that's 2 council members. Now, I have not heard from Mason, and I have not heard from McIntosh. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say, if Hal did not contact the sponsoring counselor, who is a Republican, I'm willing to say, we'll just make the assumption right now, just kind of playing over here on the side, that if he didn't contact Roe, and we heard that he did not contact Sarah, I'm willing to bet he did not contact Harold or McIntosh. Okay? Pretty safe. And if he didn't contact Sarah, and he didn't contact Harold Mason or Billy McIntosh, I'm willing to bet he didn't contact Nora Powell. That's 5 votes. Okay? It's 4 Democrats and 1 Republican. In order to override this veto, we only need 1 more vote. Jerry Dishman. Jerry Dishman, this is his district, and I think the people are definitely working him. So I think they are in a little bit of trouble. I don't know. I'm going to reach out to the other counselors because I want a total rundown. I want to know we have to know, because I'm going to issue the record request for this. So we're going to get to the bottom of this, because I'm not ready to make the bold claim that the information provided in the veto letter is a flat out lie. I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared to make that claim yet. But I believe that the information, I just have a sneaking suspicion that he lied in the veto letter. I just feel that. I don't have any proof of that, so I'm not saying it yet. I'm just saying it seems like he did in my mind, but who am I? I'm some deranged sinner. So what does anybody care what I have to say? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. I have a pretty big day planned out for both Monday and Tuesday, as far as city and county business, getting these emails, and then also scheduling with Brandon a date for the JD episode. Like I said, hopefully that'll be towards the end of this week. I'd like to try to do it towards the end of a week and give you guys enough time. Hopefully I will know the final date on that tomorrow. I would highly recommend anybody that wants to send out emails to the counselors, telling them that it's your wish that they vote to override the veto. I would highly recommend that you do that this week. I want those emails to get there, and I want you to be able to have the chance to express yourselves. So we're going to save this. This is our email list: Jeff Green, Nora Powell, Brandon Garrett, Sarah Gullion, Jerry Dishman, Harold Mason, Dale Basham, Rose Selvey, William McIntosh. I would tell you to heavily lay into Green, Garrett, Dishman, Dale. Okay? That's who you would want to heavily lay into. But if you want to email all of them, it's probably just as best to just do it and send it to all of them. I would highly, highly, highly recommend citizens attend Wednesday's meeting at 5:30 if you can attend at the City Hall there. Also Tuesday at 6 p.m. That's the Parks Board meeting. These are some important meetings going on. There's some important things going on this week. We're going to have a busy week. We're going to have a lot of great programs and bring you a lot of great information and go from there. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday evening. Have a great first day back to the work week. Thank God Tuesday it's going to get cooler. The temperature is going to break, and we're going to be back to having some breeze, and it's not going to be as so miserable. So that's going to be wonderful. It is Delaware County Fair Week, so that means consider going out there and doing all of that thing. That's it is a thing, and you could do it. So I think I will be out there during the 2 political nights, and I think that either happens to be on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday. So we'll find out when. But other than that, you guys have a great night. Take care. God bless each and every one of you. We will be back here the rest of this week. I don't foresee us taking time off So we will be back here every night at 9 p.m. Eastern. As always, please smash that like button, subscribe, do all of that stuff before you leave if you would be so kind. And we will see you later. Good night and goodbye.